Ladies and gentlemen, today is the day a lot of 13F filings are coming out for different investors and fund managers. And what I'm noticing is some very bullish things for Tesla in the 13F filings. And here in this video, one of the things that we will do is take a look at these 13F filings. And well, you could be pretty shocked by this because some big players we've all heard of are adding exposure to Tesla stock in really unprecedented ways. Now, depending on how closely you follow Tesla stock, this may not be a surprise because if you are a everyday viewer of this channel, you know Tesla's short interest is at the lowest it has ever been at in the history of Tesla. It's never been this low, meaning you've never had this many people that are actually bullish on Tesla. You've always had more bears on Tesla than right now. You have 2.13% short interest of free float. And in fact, ever since Tesla started to fall from all-time highs, short sellers have been covering on their short positions every single week. In fact, since all-time highs on December 18th, you have seen over 21 million shares get covered, which is a substantial amount considering there was about 81 million shares sold short on December 13th, and today there's only 59 million shares sold short. That is like a 40% reduction in the overall short position in Tesla. But first things first, before we get into everything else, we're going to take a look at the largest positions on Tesla currently from your hedge funds and institutions and some of the newest 13F filings coming out. First and foremost, you have Susquehanna International Group that has a call position worth 54.4 million shares. They added to that 21%. They did add to their put position, bringing that up to about 43.5 million shares. So they are net positive about 11 million shares, with upside exposure, but they did add 44% to their put position. Citadel reduced their call position by 11%, still owning about 37.5 million shares worth of their call position, which is insane. Look at this. FMR LLC added to their Tesla position 40%, bringing their total ownership to 34.5 million shares. That is not like a small add. That is massive. Now, Citadel, they did add to their put position by about 2%, equaling 27 million shares. Barclays added a little bit to their put position as well, keeping their share position roughly the same. Charles Schwab Investment Management added about 5% to their overall position in Tesla. Barclays added about 5% to their call position. LPL Financial added 9% to their Tesla position. Look at this. Franklin Resources added 69.5% to their position, bringing that up to about 6.7 million shares that they currently own. As we go down the list, you will see other notable adds here, like Toronto Dominion Bank added 52.5% to their position. Look at this, Fidelity Advisor Growth Opportunities added to their position 21,000% in Tesla, bringing their position to about 1.5 million shares. Look at this. Citadel Advisors added to their position almost 400%, bringing their share ownership position to about 1.46 million shares. If we continue down the list, you have Invesco American Franchise Fund Class A added to their position 306% to 828,000 shares. A new position, you're going to know this one, Brad Gerstner's Altimeter Capital Management added 662,000 shares of Tesla, a brand new position. You could see other notable positions. Another Fidelity position increased by 20%. Let's see. AIM Counselor Series, another Invesco fund, added 274,000 shares of Tesla, brand new position. Blair William & Co. added 12.5% to their position. Lido Advisors added 14.5% to their position. Avanza Founder AB added 245,000 shares. That is a brand new position. And you do see a lot of this. Tower Research Capital added 99% to their position, now owning 203,000 shares. Now the position sizing gets a lot smaller here. So as you can see, of the large positions in Tesla, a majority of which are adding to those positions. I mean, these are not like small ads either. A lot of these are huge. Now, you do have some, notable declines as well. This one, Bailey Gifford & Co., reduced their position by about 41%, still owning 7.5 million shares. But for the most part, you are seeing a lot of new additions and a lot of very bullish activity. Again, just to point out, Citadel reducing their call position a little bit, keeping their put position about the same, and massively adding to their share position. That is one in particular that I will note, because Citadel tends to be a top performer every quarter. So what I am seeing so far from the 13F filings looks pretty good. Now, there's obviously going to be a lot more of those filings that come out over the next couple of weeks and months, and I will be on the lookout for that. I really want to see what comes out of the major notable banks, like some of the more bearish firms like JP Morgan. JP Morgan, in fact, in the latest filing, they added to their Tesla positions in every single fund that they own Tesla. This one added 7.5%. This one added 325% to their position, and this one added 43%. If we look at something like a Morgan Stanley reduced their share position in one of these funds by 14%. Added 325% to this fund and 43% addition to this fund. If we look at Citi, which if I actually can't see any positions here by Citi. I thought they were an investor in Tesla, but guess not. Wells Fargo, not a huge investor in Tesla. Where's Bank of America? I want to see Bank of America because I thought they were an investor in Bank of America. You could see Swedbank AB decreased their just got rid of their put position in Tesla. Huntington National Bank reduced their position a little bit. I'm not seeing Bank of America, but I believe they owned some Tesla shares. Might have to do a little bit more digging to figure that out. But again, so far, it looks good. Again, potentially not a big shocking surprise considering the short interest is at a all-time new low. Now here on the day today, it looks like about 50,000 shares were sold short on net. So you had return shares of 382,000 and borrowed shares of 432,000. So only 50,000 shares being sold short today. Not exactly a bad day. Not a great day. Not a bad day. Option activity today, very positive. You had 188 different trades totaling $353 million with a positive order value of 83%. Now, I just want to be very clear here. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a financial planner, but I do believe you are missing an opportunity if you are selling Tesla here. That is my opinion, and I will stand by that. I believe Tesla will be a $900 stock by the end of this year. And I know that's just crazy to some people. To even suggest that as a possibility is insane. That would be a 156% increase, roughly, from today's levels. But I think it's coming. And I think there's a reason. The short interest is as low as it's ever been. At a new all-time low for short interest. Like, that doesn't happen for no reason. Hedge funds and institutions, they are bullish on Tesla in a way that we have never seen before. And, what I see out there is a lot of retail investors that see other areas of our markets doing well, see other stocks doing well. And they get a bit of FOMO in those other areas. They say to themselves most of the time that they'll buy Tesla stock back when it starts to do well, but they're going to go chase these other opportunities in the meantime. And while that may be a good strategy for some people, and maybe you do well with that. The real returns usually come in the span of just a couple of days. And I think once Wall Street starts to realize what Tesla is really doing here, that they're actually going to launch robotaxi in June, Tesla stock is going to massively appreciate in value. I think I can firmly say that a lot of people on Wall Street, I would say probably over 50% of firms on Wall Street, do not think Tesla's launching the robotaxi network in June. Like, that's going to come to Wall Street as a total shocker when that happens. Now, are you going to be shocked when that happens? No. But I think Wall Street will be. And it's really the only way to play autonomous vehicles at mass in the US market. Okay, and you really can't even play autonomous vehicles in China either, because you really can't trust China's numbers. There's no auditing that goes on. It's a mess trying to invest in China. And really, if you want to invest in Waymo, you got to invest in Google. But Google is such a massive company, like, it doesn't matter if Waymo does good or bad. It's just not going to move the needle for Google. Now, I think either way it goes, Tesla's going to be a major player, if not the player, in robotaxi. We all know this. Tesla's going to be top dog. Give it some time in robotaxi. And I think Wall Street is going to start to realize that over the course of this year. Now, there's a couple different things that obviously go into my $900 price target by the end of this year. It is robotaxi being successful in their operations. Okay. You think we get a lot of headlines now and a lot of bad news now? Wait until the first robotaxi has a fender bender or something very minor happens. It is going to be breaking news, and Tesla stock is going to get clapped and blah, blah, blah. But I think ultimately we end this year around $900 per share. Again, it sounds crazy because the stock's only $353 today. But that is my opinion. You also need to see lower, cheaper priced Teslas that come to market, as Tesla promised. And Tesla remains with, their guidance for the first half of this year. And what we actually seen today from Joe Tetmeyer's video is they are actually making new production lines in Giga Texas right now. As we speak, they are making new production lines. Now, some people think this is for the new Model Y. It could be. I think it's probably has something to do with the cheaper, lower priced Teslas that will be coming out. And how Tesla usually operates is they have like an event for the unveiling of their new models. So I expect any time now we're going to get that announcement for that event. And I think when we get that, there, like you normally see, there's going to be a run up in Tesla stock. And that could even take us into the 500s as people realize, like, hey, Tesla's actually going to do the things that they say, which still sounds crazy to most. We are also expecting FSD to enter the Chinese market in the first half of this year, and in which that should be a big success. Okay. So all of these things I think are heavily being discounted right now by some fears that Elon Musk is somehow no longer the CEO of Tesla because he's in Washington doing good for the greater American public. CEOs do not get paid a lot of money to run day-to-day operations. In case you guys didn't know that. CEOs get paid to make hard choices that have a definitive, lasting impact on a company. Okay? CEOs do not get fired from a company for showing up late to work. Okay, they get fired from a company and the company does not do well if a CEO makes continuous bad decisions. I do not see Elon making bad decisions. In fact, I see Elon coming through with the promises that he made really last year in 2024. And that's what's going to be the big driver of Tesla. And while Wall Street can be concerned about WeRide and Chinese autonomous driving technology and Elon being in Washington and a political backlash against Tesla, none of that actually matters, right? None of it matters. And I think big money are kind of, telling you that. Big money is reducing short positions. They're adding to their actual share positions. They're adding option exposure in Tesla. And considering the stock has fallen from $488 to $353, they're saying it's a good time to be adding. Okay, I mean, you have a $130+ discount per share from just a month or two ago. That, my friends, is what you call an opportunity that you do not get all too often. Now, the other thing I'll point out is I do believe we are entering into another rally in the broader markets. The S&P has broken out of a clear downtrend, hitting a new all-time high today, but I do think that will continue, especially into next week. Couple reasons for this. We've gotten your big tech earnings besides NVIDIA. NVIDIA is going to be good from everything we can see. NVIDIA has nothing. We have nothing to worry about with NVIDIA. Okay. So that is still coming, but earnings season's pretty much over. We've gotten the CPI report, the jobs report, the Fed meeting, the tariff announcement from Trump. We don't really have anything else to be too uncertain about in the near term. Now, when you alleviate uncertainty, you usually get a market that moves higher, especially considering investors are very bearish right now. 47.3% of investors are bearish. That is a multi-year high. Typically, when you have that kind of bearishness, which you can clearly see reflected in a stock like Tesla that's declined a lot, usually you want to bet on the contrarian outcome. If everyone's bearish, it's usually not the best time to be bearish. Okay, when everyone is bullish, it's usually not the best time to be bullish. And that would suggest that maybe over the next couple of weeks, we are in store for a larger market rally. I will also point out, we have a lot of small caps, mid caps reporting earnings next week. Again, it's not going to be NVIDIA. It's not going to be any of your, multi-trillion-dollar companies that have already reported that really move markets. And next week, we don't have much for economic data. We really don't have much of anything. You have the FOMC minutes, housing starts, and a couple other smaller points on Wednesday. You really don't have anything on Thursday besides your typical initial jobless claims, Philly Fed data, Fed Goolsby that speaks, small data points. Okay, on Friday, you don't really have much of anything besides existing home sales. So there's not a whole lot to be fearful about heading into next week either. And from that perspective, it should be positive for Tesla. And overall, with this technical breakout that we are now in, being above this downtrending line, I do think that paves the way for markets to move into a new trading range, probably between 620 and 630, to kind of leg up into a new consolidation pattern at higher levels. So these are just my thoughts I have heading into this weekend that I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know what you think about this down below in the comment section. If you're bullish, if you're bearish, if you have no idea what's going on, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.